Hello and welcome back to the NBA DFS Slate Breakdown for Friday, December 29th. The last slate I will be going over for 2023. 2024 is coming on quick. Before we get into this slate, as always, come join us at LionStar. $39.99 per month gets you access to everything we do, all the props, all the DFS, all the sports we cover, one low price. Or you could do the yearly option for $240, which only $20 a month. It's a steal. You're going to win much more than that for sure. So let's get into the slate. We got a fairly interesting slate here to go over. Once again, DK and FanDuel are doing this thing where they're cutting out the late games. So 6 o'clock is the latest game. We are minus the 2 later games. So it would have been an 8-game slate, 10-game slate, but it's an 8-gamer now. And let's get into it. Go position by position here. So starting off point guard, we got Tyrese Maxey, 36% owned. Joel Embiid is out. So makes a lot of sense to go Maxey. His price has come down a little bit. He's 8,400, and 8,400 for a guy that can, consistently get around 40, 50 makes a lot of sense. They also could be, this could be a close game. So I think there's a lot to like about going with Maxey. The one thing I have to say is he really doesn't get that much of a bump without Joel Embiid. The biggest bump on the team without Embiid goes to DeAnthony Melton. So while I do like him, I think I would probably be getting just as much of him if Embiid was there. Maybe slightly less, but not too much of a difference. And I think his ownership probably is going a little bit high. Trae Young, with being saying that, I'm going to be playing Maxey. I just might not get up to 36% of him. Trae Young, he's in a pretty good spot. I don't mind getting there, but I'm probably going to be a little bit under the field on him as well. He's been playing well. 10.2K, I think, is just a lot for him, but is an extremely high game total. 252 game total. Should be a close game. I think there's a lot of good reasons to go to Trae Young, but I am actually probably more intrigued just going with Fox and less ownership on that one. Malik Monk is in an okay spot. His minutes have come down again. He had that run recently of, 26, 28 minutes. He's back down to his normal 20, 24 if he plays well. And if he's only getting 20, 22 minutes, just not enough time on the court for him. DeAnthony Melton is likely where I'm going to be going over Maxey. Or just have more of Melton than I will of Maxey in this situation. Melton is getting the biggest bump, and the matchup for him is a little bit better than it is for Maxey, so I like it. Some other spots I am looking, Fred VanVleet. So just on the other side of this game, he's 8,200. When he's on, he has a huge ceiling. They're without Jabari Smith, without Dylan Brooks. It gives VanVleet a very big bump up in the fantasy points per minute department. The one thing here, though, is without those guys on the court, we do have a limited sample size. So without those guys, he's almost like a 1.2 minute fantasy point per minute player. Now, it's a small sample size, so I don't think he's really getting that big of a bump, but nonetheless, there is definitely a bump up for him without those guys, and the minutes should be there in a tightly contested game. So I like going there as well. And lastly, Drew Holiday. So the Celtics situation as a whole right now, there's a lot of ambiguity right now. We don't really know what's going on. Kristaps Porzingis is doubtful. Al Horford's out, but Brown, Holiday, Tatum are all questionable. So we got to wait on news there. But say Porzingis is out, everybody else is Porzingis and Horford are out, everybody else plays. That's kind of how I drew it up today. And in that case, I do like Holiday quite a bit at a lower ownership. Now, ownership could go totally nuts here with certain guys being out. So stay diligent and pay attention at all as it unfolds throughout the day. On to DraftKings point guard, highest owned. We got DeAnthony Melton, then Trae Young, and Jamal Murray. So with the Nuggets, Aaron Gordon is once again out, and Michael Porter Jr. is questionable. If Michael Porter Jr. is out, it's going to give Murray a little bit more of a bump. I like him. I don't mind going there. I'm just not going to have very much of him. And getting over to the matchups, our top matchup is Terry Rozier, then Lillard, then Fox, Jamal Murray, Dinwiddie. I think Dinwiddie's a little interesting. I think Fox is interesting. Lillard is my favorite buck today, but still not really getting there. And Rozier, I don't mind getting to a little bit of him, just not going to get to that much. Shooting guard. All right, high owned. We got Bridges, Peyton Watson, Malik Monk, DeAnthony Melton. I like Bridges quite a bit today. I think he's in a really good spot. His price is fair versus Washington. He gets, a pace-up spot. And his matchup is really good as a small forward or a shooting guard going against Washington. Peyton Watson had a good game last game out. He only played 23 minutes. He did start and fill in for Aaron Gordon. If he fills in for Gordon again, I think he's in an interesting spot. And I think 28 minutes, what we have for him is fair. DeAnthony Melton we went over. Kelly Oubre definitely gets a little bump up from no Embiid. My only issue with him is it is a little bit tougher of a matchup from this small forward spot than it is in other spots on the 76ers. So I'm not getting to a ton of Oubre, but I do like him, and I am fairly interested. And for DraftKings, we got Melton, got Chris Middleton, and Jason Tate. So Jason Tate, we want to talk about, he did start last game, but only played 24 minutes, and this is kind of what I expected. He hasn't been playing many minutes all game, all year. 24, 27 is actually his high. I think going to 26, 27 minutes is kind of hard for him, and I don't know if we can necessarily project him for it. He's there right now, but I kind of think that's going to be the upper end of his possibilities, just because how little he's been playing. Now, could he play that? Yes. Could he play more? Yes, but I just don't love taking the chance on it in this situation. Chris Middleton, he is somebody we were all over this last game, went for 51. I don't mind going there. Once again, guys playing minutes again, 32. That's exactly what we were saying last time they played, that he could be in that 32, 33 range. And if he's there, he is probably still underpriced. The only issue is that it's kind of a tough matchup. And shooting guard here. So we got Herter, Murray, Herter, Poole, Cam Thomas, Dante DiVincenzo, and Jalen Green. Don't mind any of them. Murray, super high-paced game. I probably should bump up his projection a little bit, just to the fact that I think he's going under-owned in one of the best game environments on the slate. And Trae Young, super high-owned, so you're getting some leverage there going with Murray. Cam Thomas, I think he gets a nice little bump up in this spot versus Washington. Look, he's a scorer. Higher pace games are good for him. And over to small forward, we got Jason Tate, Mikal Bridges, Harrison Barnes. I regret to inform you that I do kind of like Harrison Barnes. Guy has been pretty terrible all season long, but the fact is that he's 4,600, playing, 30 to 35 minutes every single night. Super high scoring game environment, and he's a guy that can flirt with 30 on any single night. And we've seen last year where, he's mid 30s regularly. I don't think that's that far off for him to get this year. Now, I don't love him because he's just been playing terrible all season long, but I'm going to take some shots, and mid 20s, high 20s is fairly likely for him this spot at 4,600. It's an interesting one. Kyle Kuzma, he's been pretty bad the last couple games, but I'm probably going to go back to him a little bit in this spot. Simply put, he's 7.5K and can get you 60. So I got to take shots on guys like that from time to time, and it's not a terrible situation here. Jalen Johnson, I'm actually getting a ton of. These are the games that I really like him, where it's high-paced, a lot of transition buckets, and guys are getting out and running. Played 29 minutes his first game back. That was a few days ago. I do expect him to be able to play probably 30, 32. We have him at 30 right now. I think it's interesting. He can definitely get you 5X and has a ceiling where he can get up to mid 40s. So I'm intrigued by Johnson at lower ownership. Oubre we talked about. Got to bring up good old Scotty B here. So Scotty Barnes played the point guard. He started there last game out. Now, if it is the same thing, I am extremely intrigued with Scotty Barnes in this situation. The reason being is he's been like a 1.3 fantasy per minute player on the season. However, with Schroeder off of the court, he's gone up to like 1.5. Essentially what that means is Schroeder off the court, he's handling the ball more. The ball in his hands more, he scores more fantasy points. So I am very intrigued by Scotty Barnes if he starts at point once again. If he doesn't start at point, I might get a little bit, but I'm not going to get too much. And Brandon Miller. Look, the Hornets are hurt. Miller has shown us a little bit of a ceiling lately. I do think 6K is getting a little pricey for him. But with all the injuries, I'm definitely intrigued by the rookie. And let's get over to FanDuel or DraftKings. High owned Tobias Harris, Josh Hart, and Chris Middleton. Tobias, look, Embiid's out, so I get it. He is a much better producer with Embiid out, but I do think the power forward spot is a little bit of a tough matchup versus the Rockets. However, with Jabari Smith out, maybe that is a little bit easier than it has been in the past. But I'm not totally sure because Tari Eason is probably going to play a lot more, and that won't benefit Harris a ton. So while with him higher owned, I don't mind going there. I'm probably just not. I just don't think his 50 burgers happen much, and we just saw 2 of them. I think mid 30s, high 30s is pretty much just where he lives. Josh Hart, I just don't know if he's going to get the minutes. He's going to come off the bench again. Don't mind him at 5K. He can absolutely get you 6X. It's just, I don't think he goes for 35 plus. And Middleton we covered. Small forward, Grayson Allen, Okoro, Tate, Jaylen Brown, Bay, all in the best matchups. Fine with any of them. And over to power forward. So power forward wise, we got Jason Tate, Harrison Barnes, Kyle Kuzma. Fine with them all. Talked about them all already. Then we got Jalen Johnson, and now got a few other guys to talk about here. Jarrett Allen. Jarrett Allen has been beasting without Mobley, without Garland, and he's playing the minutes, we want to see. 35 the last two games, both away games, both doing very well, and I'm fine with going back to Jarrett Allen in this situation. He has been very good without those guys, and doing kind of the stuff we remember him doing in his Brooklyn days. So I like to see it, and don't mind going back there at lower ownership when he's been hot. We've mentioned the Celtics' whole situation. Look, it's either going to be Lamar Stevens or Quetta starting, and I don't mind Stevens if he's starting. The one thing I will say with that is I'm only playing if he's starting. If you see when he isn't starting, he just hasn't really played many minutes. So he is a start or I'm not playing him type role. Now, power forward on DK, we got Barnes, we got Watson, and Kenrich Williams. Kenrich been playing a little bit of minutes, but just not enough for me to really feel like we should be going there. It's probably he's just popping a little bit in optimizers because he's so cheap, and he will be washed out once any more value comes up. And power forward matchups wise, Banchero, Harris, Cam Johnson, Kuzma, Wade, Randall, all at the top. Don't mind many of them. I do like Cam Johnson quite a bit. Banchero, I actually like Franz Wagner more than Banchero today. Issue though is Wagner is coming down lower on the matchup tool than Banchero. All right, now getting over to center. So, high on guys, Nemes Quetta, Alperen Sengun, and Domantas Sabonis. So, Quetta is who I do believe will be starting today. It could very well could not be him, but he's, occasionally been playing 20 minutes off the bench as it is, coming in for Porzingis at the center spot, and I really think that's their best look in this game, especially with Podol on the other side. If he just matches Podol's minutes, he's an absolute slam. But even if he's only playing 20, 22 minutes, he's pretty interesting. We have him at 20 minutes. Projection is pretty high for only 20 minutes, so do not mind going there. Sengun. Sengun going against the 76ers without Embiid. Paul Reed can foul a lot. So say Sengun gets him into foul trouble, and then he's playing against all guys. It's either Mo Bamba or guys a lot smaller than him. I think it's pretty interesting. Do not mind going here. Look, you got a 60-point ceiling and under 9K, and I'm intrigued, and I'm definitely intrigued. I'll have a little bit, not too much. Sabonis, this game environment is just insane. 255 total, way higher than everybody else, and he's one of the best in this game. Other spots I like. I gotta like Jokic. Once again, I brought it up yesterday. He is 1.9 fantasy points per minute without Aaron Gordon. So there's no Aaron Gordon. He's extremely interesting once again. He put up 60 in only 30 minutes last game. He plays 34, 35 like his normal. And it looks really, really nice. It is a tougher matchup versus OKC, but at least the minute should be there this time. So I'm definitely intrigued and definitely going to be getting some Jokic. And Nick Richards, he's actually been playing pretty well lately and, getting a few extra minutes here and there as long as it's not a blowout or he gets into foul trouble. But definitely a little bit intrigued with Richards going at low ownership, still the starter there. Now, obviously there's going to be a lot more value that opens up. May change that a little bit throughout the day, but that's where I'm liking right now. Jokic, high owned on DraftKings, Kenrich Williams, and Mo Bamba with Paul Reed right there. Paul Reed's likely going to start. Mo Bamba is still a little bit interesting coming off the bench. If he gets a couple extra minutes because he's playing well, he has a real good ceiling. He's a guy that has been 1.15 fantasy per minute over the last 5 games, 1.3 over the last 20. So he can get you some points quickly. You are going to just need him to play some extra minutes. And Paul Reed, his price come up quite a bit, but hey, he can drop you a 40 burger. And at 5,300, it's still extremely interesting. The issue with him is, look, he had 4 fouls last game. He had 5 fouls the game before that, which severely hurt his playing time. He can just get into foul trouble quickly. And when you have a very good center on the other side, worries me a little bit more. Now, I am still going to have a little bit, but that's definitely my worry for him. And finish it up with the matchup tool. Paul Reed's on the very top. Yusuf Nurkic, Nick Claxton, Lamar Stevens. I realize that this could be Quetta as well if Quetta is starting. And Nick Richards, Gafford, Hartenstein. All in all, pretty interesting slate. It's an 8-gamer. Let's go. Good luck to all of you guys. And hopefully let's win some money or have somebody have a takedown on here. Now, please like, comment, and subscribe to our videos. Helps us a ton. And Happy New Year, guys. See you tomorrow or next week. Bye.